If you feel like you're in a hole right now, good. At least you know you can go up. Let's talk about that hole that you feel like you're in right now. This is where really people break, is that your expectations, they go wrong. And every normal obstacle just feels like a failure. And the second you realign that expectation, you gain back to control. Instead of just asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what does this actually require to get it done? So stop trying to escape old expectations. Stop trying to ask yourself, well, why can't this be easy and must be easy? Upgrade the standard, make it harder, make it longer, make it real. All right, let's go. If you're tired, not feeling fit, tired, just not going to focus, tired, just not having a life that you desire. This is your place to be. I'm Jason Yarusi. Let's talk about that hole that you feel like you're in right now. You know, you ever felt like you're in quicksand, and with quicksand, the more you move, the more you try, the deeper you sink. And when you have that, right, you say, man, it just feels like everything's working against me. And we just talk about, oh, how do I get out of this hole? The truth is of why you're still in this is it's not the effort you're putting forward. It's not the intelligence, not the market. It's not what's happening in politics. It's your expectations. You didn't fall behind because things got hard. You stayed behind because you expected this was going to be easy, right? This was just going to be perfectly easy for you to start and make it happen. And that's the gap between expectation and reality, the whole. The real issue here is what happens is we want it to just be so perfect. You buy that deal, you expect the business plan to go perfect. The second you take over, you hire someone, you say, well, why aren't they doing great things? Why can't they just figure it out? You start getting in shape and you look in the mirror and you say, well, why don't I have a six-pack yet? It's been a week. And when that doesn't go your way, you don't just adjust your expectations and start putting in the work. You quietly quit the mission, or you question the mission. You say, I guess this was the wrong path forward. And this is where really people break, is that your expectations, they go wrong. And every normal obstacle just feels like a failure. In your life, how many times have you stopped because you felt like you failed before you even started, or potentially before you even let things manifest? And when it's not failure, it's just your reality that shows up unannounced to say, you know what? You're not going to have a six-pack in a week. You haven't worked out in 3 months. And the fastest way out of the hole, well, it's not just putting your head down and working harder. It's about resetting the rules of the game. Start here. Expect it to take longer. Expect it to cost more. Both could be physically, mentally, financially. Expect people to disappoint you and not show up when you thought they would have your back. Expect setbacks from the second you start, and especially right when momentum builds. If you can work that, that's when the power happens. That's when the momentum begins. If you stop reacting emotionally and start reacting rationally to the work you've put in, you start operating strategically, saying, okay, this is the steps I'm taking. Are they producing the results that are going to continue to carry me forward? Or do I need to adjust? Instead of acting like you're surprised, start being strategic and don't panic. Just execute. What if today you stopped living off the seat and stopped reacting to every little thing that came your way and start putting the work in, executing in a way that's going to continue forward, understanding that the failure is not in the long run. The failure is stopping prematurely before it even gets started. Look at any deal that's struggling. It's not just the numbers. It was the timeline that was wrong. It was the partnership that you didn't put in the work to make sure this was the right partner for you. It was overdoing on your comps. It was expecting for everything to work perfect, for your base case, your best case, and your worst case, for only your best case to work. And the base case, the best case, the base case, and the worst case and the base case to not even be an option, because how could it not all go right? It's when deck gets tighter. And it doesn't mean it's broken. It means your expectation was misaligned. And the second you realign that expectation, you gain back to control. Instead of just asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what does this actually require to get it done, to make it work, to make it happen, to put this in perspective, to say, okay, I can do this. What needs to be done? What steps now? You start taking the control back. You start completely being the operator of your life instead of the reactor of your life. And if you feel like you're in a hole right now, good. At least you know you can go up. That doesn't mean you've got something worth climbing out of, right? You want to make sure that you're in the right hole to start with, but you can look at it realistically and say, what does it take to get myself back on track? So stop trying to escape old expectations. Stop trying to ask yourself, well, why can't this be easy and must be easy? Upgrade the standard, make it harder, make it longer, make it real, make it lasting, make it truthful. Because the truth is you don't like to rise to your goals. But if you ever want to get back to the level of life that you deserve to have, you need to stop lowering your expectations and start being real with what it takes to get them right. Life is built upon you understanding that your work in, your time in, overall gives you a desired life. If you just continue day 1, day 2, day 3, repeat, rinse, repeat. All right, that's what I have for you today. If this has been helpful, go down there and leave us an honest rating and review. Help us continue to get this show out to the masses. Let's do this.